A Common Sense Media report says that nearly half of teens admit they are addicted to technology. The report surveyed both teens and parents and found that both groups have a nasty device habit that might be stifling their lives and relationships. All right, so the Common Sense Media it's an organization that studies and rates media technology for kids and families. And they did a study of more than 1,200 teens and parents, and they also pulled together some recent research with regards to technology, and they found that half of teens say that they are addicted to technology. Half of parents and a third of teens also say that they're trying to cut down on this. And this might not seem very surprising to you all, but I think to me, what was so compelling about this story is the fact that there's some awareness or some acknowledgement on behalf of the teens that they're like, oh man, I got a problem. What do you think?
Yeah, but I think it's that's the kind of face they're pulling when they say, yeah, I got a problem. It means that to them, they don't really see it. They just see it as a necessary part of life. Right. And it's sort of a kind of more of a throwaway. I don't think they see it as a problem in of itself. They say that they're addicted to it, but it's kind of with a small a, and it's more of a throwaway. They don't necessarily see it as an impediment in the way that you're suggesting, or that this research might lead us to conclude.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and the research it seems to focus a lot on teenagers and focusing on the fact that because of kids these days, you know, they've grown up with technology. It's not something that they kind of were able to slide into. It's something that they've always had. So it kind of erodes their ability to develop empathy and to develop face-to-face relationships and what have you. But we'll find with some of these statistics that it looks like it's not just a teen problem, it's definitely a parent problem too. But so James Steyer, who is the founder and chief executive of Common Sense, of this study, he has this to say. He says, digital devices have transformed people's lives. They're changing everything from parent-child relationships to human interaction to our ability to focus on the task at hand. And particularly for young people who are growing up as digital natives, it has public health concerns, which that's the first time I've heard digital natives, but I guess that's what these kids are. But again, what I found interesting is, for example, 48% of parents feel that they have to answer emails and texts immediately. 72% of teens do. So there's still a large number of parents that are just as plugged in as students are, teens are rather. They 69% of parents check their devices hourly. 78% of teens do that. With regards to relationships, 77% of parents feel their teens are distracted by devices or are not paying attention. 41% of teens say the same thing about their parent. So it's kind of this interesting thing, and I'm sort of like in the middle where, you know, I came of age when technology wasn't as everywhere you want to be as it is now, but I still can see how it's not just a teen problem. Like, everybody is a little bit too plugged in, and I think the onus is sort of on parents to set those boundaries, or to at least, you know, walk the walk, really.
Right, to an extent, but so what's the point? The point being what? Because ultimately that's where the world is headed, and that's ultimately how people are going to function when they become adults, and that's how adults are functioning. Right. Because either it's out of necessity, because that's where you conduct your business and your work, or out of just, but that's how you conduct yourself on social media, you know, socially with your friends. The reality is that it's one device that does all of those things. So unplugging from that is virtually impossible, and it's not sensible in today's digital age. People expect it. Exactly. So to what end? Yes, to the end of being able to form meaningful relationships, but those are ever evolving and changing now. And the sad truth is that, yeah, people are probably becoming slightly less connected and empathetic. And that is something that is a potential, it is a huge problem. But in terms of that connectivity, in terms of that engagement, those are the qualities that people are looking for now. And it is about a slight shifting paradigm. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm not necessarily supportive of it, but it's the reality.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's definitely fighting a losing battle to just say, oh, hey, stay off your phone. That's just not the way things are. But I suppose there are boundaries, like maybe instead of giving your kid an iPad at dinner, you're just like, hey, talk to me for a while. You know what I mean? Something like that. But certainly, this is not new. I mean, 20 years ago, you still had people, you know, the previous generation saying, oh, these kids and their video games, you know, they're playing Nintendo. There's always going to be something that is making us less and less connected. I just find it interesting that we have these statistics of both parents and teenagers acknowledging this. And then also on this report, they talk about steps to help find this balance. So it sort of is this step program, declaring tech-free zones and times, choosing high-quality media, talking about it with your kids, you know, how they feel or what their social media use is doing for them. But yeah, I mean, and ultimately, if it gets really bad, then they suggest to seek professional help. But you know, hopefully it doesn't get to that point.
Right.
It's sort of just the zeitgeist of the time. So
yeah, there's going to be a burgeoning, just like there were pet psychologists and psychiatrists. That was a boom in the 80s. There's going to be a boom in people helping you disconnect and transition away from you know, using the iPhone or whatever device it is as a crutch. So sure.
I do think it's interesting when, you know, on Facebook, I've had many friends that are like, hey guys, heads up, I'm leaving social media for a while. Like they make it a big declaration, like I'm making a change in my life. And you're kind of like, okay, all right. Well, according to this report, I guess you should text your kids you love them.